Ladies and gentlemen, it is the one and the only Sir Hale speaks in the building. What's going on, everyone? It's good to see you. It is the one and the only Sir Hale Speaks. Sir Hale Speaks. We are in the building, and it's good to see everybody. Guys, I'm glad that you guys are back. I appreciate all the love you've been showing to my channel as we've come back, hitting the algorithm harder than we have before. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Now, do me a favor. If you are new or if you are returning, be sure to hit the like button. And for all of my new people, for those who are newcomers just tuning in to Sir Hale Speaks, be so kind to hit the subscribe button to keep up with all of our latest content. All right, guys, well, listen, this week has been an interesting week as I have spent a lot of time kind of investigating stories, or at least speaking on stories that I typically don't. Typically, people know my channel for speaking more on relationships, and which is primarily what I want to focus on. Is just that I think that there were so many different avenues beyond romantic relationships, things that I think we need to address. And today we have one that I think we need to have a conversation about. So all this week, you've heard me talk about, the egregious, the horrid incident of a man in Chicago finding some random woman, putting some flammable liquid on her, and then setting her on fire. A horrible experience, out of which I hope that they find this individual and that they feel the law. We've seen that. We saw, again in Chicago as well, a mother walking her children home while children viciously assault her and her son while her daughter watches in horror, helplessly, unable to do anything to assist. And then today we see another story that I find interesting, that I see a parallel that I want to talk about. In today's reaction, there is a teacher, a Christian teacher, who was sort of award-winning and had notoriety for her ability, had a good reputation at school, and how she treated her own son at home behind closed doors was videotaped. So I want to warn everybody who's watching this, what you're getting ready to see is particularly triggering. And so viewer discretion is strongly advised. Guys, take a look at this. I want us to watch this and listen, and I'm going to come back with my response, and we're going to talk a little bit about this.
The video was clandestinely captured by another family member who has given us permission to show it to you. It appears to be a parent attempting to physically discipline her child. The sheriff's office now confirms the woman is the mother of the 12-year-old son that is about to be struck with a strap or a belt 22 times, the beating lasting about 15 seconds, and it is difficult to watch. The woman then pulls the child up from the sofa by his hair, then unleashes a torrent of profanity. Everybody else is saying, this video has also been viewed by investigators with the Mobile County Sheriff's Office, who identify her as 44-year-old Randy Nicole Staples of Grand Bay. But some viewers may recognize her as Mrs. Nicole Staples, a second-grade teacher at Cottage Hill Christian Academy. This is her booking picture from Mobile Metro Jail earlier this evening after being charged with felony willful abuse.
People are entitled to discipline their children how they choose, but that went well beyond discipline.
And that is what I want to discuss. Guys, this conversation may be a bit uncomfortable for some of us who have experienced things like this in life, but I think this warrants a discussion. One of the things that I'm concerned with is that people who see this, of course, we have a demographic of people who will make light of this. And as I have watched and observed the conversations around this ordeal, of course, people bring up their anecdotal experiences. Many of those experiences share a common thread, and that many of them brought up some of their beatings as well. Many people who are looking at the comments talked about how they were whipped with switches and with extension cords, and some, with pots and pans, and, that they still survived, and that, look at how they turned out. The questions that I want to pose to you after seeing that video, is what's the difference between it being considered abuse versus it being disciplined? And is there a particular situation or scenario that would justify this? From my perspective, the answer is no. The reason I think that this is important is because I believe that many people, and I believe too many people, have romanticized abuse because we survived it. I think that because we were raised in conditions where either the person who was parenting us didn't actually have the skills to do so, or because they came from a culture of abuse as well, we just passed down bad behaviors and we called that discipline. And the measure of its effectiveness wasn't, whether or not there was psychological or emotional damage, because those are things that if we can't see, we can't diagnose. The statements think like, well, did it kill you? Did you die? Are you still alive? Did it make you successful? We point to the successes and we tie the success to the extreme punishment. And in this case, I believe abuse. Have we romanticized this and has it skated so far under the rug for so long that now we are now witnessing the effects of this, particularly from people who you wouldn't suspect disciplines or punishes or abuses their children this way? Have we romanticized it? Does these things occur because in our culture, in our society, we champion this concept of being tough without there being clear definitions and definitive lines and boundaries that say this is too far? Whatever a child gets, they get, and we determine whether or not it was worth it based on our estimation of their wrongdoing. Is it our fault that things like this happen? The other question is, does this speak to what we've been talking about this week, the necessity of having fathers there? People who, because when you were disciplining your children, you can't do this when you were in a frustrated or angry place, because if you do, your anger will give you strength and power that in your conscious mind you wouldn't do this. But anger has a way of kind of making you numb, putting you into a sort of fight or flight, and you can take it way too far, as this woman did in this case. Now, if we said that the kid experienced, a few lashings, a few licks, I think people would have been okay. You would have had some that would still find an issue because some people don't believe in spanking at all. If I'm being honest with you, I think that whatever it takes to discipline that child, as long as it is done in a healthy way, that's what you have to do, as long as it's not abuse and you're doing this for the benefit of the child. But this is different. This child was hit 22 times. Not only after that, pulled up by his hair and then cussed out and hit again. That was not discipline. That was pinned up frustration of some level that was unleashed on that child and for the world to see. But the question that I want to pose is, do things like this occur because when it comes to society, we don't stand up for the rights of kids? We always take the sides of parents because we see our parents in that behavior. And so we romanticize bad behavior without really understanding the effects, the long-term effects, psychological, emotional, and even physical on the child. You guys, I want you to take a look at the video. Let me know what you think about this. I want to hear your thoughts. What is the difference? What is the line from discipline to abuse? Share your story. I want to hear from you. Sir Hale Speaks throughout the building. Again, like the video, subscribe, and invite somebody to join. I appreciate you, and I look forward to hearing more from you in the comments. Sir Hale Speaks in the building.